screw you, no way. And I said, yeah, look at the drain at the end. That was for cutting people up. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. She totally thought I was crazy. I'm like, what do you think the little like the little trough is around the entire edge?
Yeah.
What do you think that's for?
Yeah. So, well, Eric, you're going to say something before I cut you off, and I didn't mean to do so.
Oh, golly, I don't know. It's already a couple topics back. I was just, when we were talking about odd things that survive fires, I had a fire. I'm still sadly known for this in my dorm when I was at college, when I was at Wittenberg University.
The Great Wittenberg Fire of 1979?
It wasn't 79. It was probably 75, early 77 it was. Okay. And anyway, it was terrible. And it did start in my room. That's a whole other story. I was not ultimately held culpable for several reasons, including the fact that the fire extinguisher was missing.
Oh.
No.
Number one. And number two, better still, the sprinkler system for the entire 9-story building was disconnected.
Oh, did they want you to die in case of a fire?
No,
I think they wanted everyone to die in case of fire. And someone almost did. Someone who literally slept through, this was like, 2 in the morning or something, slept through the alarm going, over and over incessantly. Someone literally slept through it and almost died. I mean, had to be rescued from the 7th floor. I was on the 6th, had to be rescued from the 7th. With a ladder, a fire engine ladder, that only went to the 7th floor.
Oh,
barely got out in time. It was astonishing and awful, and all of my stuff was destroyed. Anyway, several days later, not hours, not whatever, days later, included in my room, as you guys know, I'm been a music guy all along. At that time, it was all vinyl. You're talking the 70s. I had, hundreds and hundreds of records destroyed. Oh. Well, several days later, at the complete other end of campus, the very, very far end of campus, I don't know how far it is really. Maybe it's a half mile. I don't know. It's a ways. It was the other end of campus. I was talking to someone days later, and floating down out of the air came one of my album covers that was burnt exactly around Groucho Marx's face.
Oh.
So all that remained was a large cartoon version of his face. It was, his album. It was like a greatest hits kind of thing. And it literally just fell out of the sky and landed between us as we were talking days later. So why did that survive? How did that survive? Where was it the subsequent time? How did it fall from the sky in the middle of our conversation? I do not have those answers.
I have the answer.
It was one more real severe oddity about the whole thing. Yes, tell me.
Groucho Marx was your guardian angel.
He may have been.
He was just trying to send you that message. By the way, I had you there. Yes,
I still have that because it was so perfectly burnt, literally outlining his face. It looked like it had been done on purpose. And that survived. And basically, nothing else did. It was a severe fire because of all the vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. And I mean, there are countless stories like that, and there are stories coming out of this area like that where people think everything is lost, and a man found his wedding ring. There's another story, or his wife's wedding ring, that she sat there to do dishes, and then there's another story from up here where she thought that she lost her horse. Her was so sad because she couldn't get her horse out. The horse found a nearby swimming pool and has been hanging out for the past 2 days, but other than being cold, is fine.
Oh,
hanging out by the pool.
Hanging in the pool, yeah. And I mean, there's most people lost everything. I'm not downplaying that, but just to know that, I think I never thought I'd say these words, but with the fires down south, I think Alyssa Milano said it best. She said, everything with a heartbeat got out. So I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And that is what
important.
matters. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So for people that have lost everything, I mean, the memories, believe me, I hoard memories. I'm like that, I have all these, memorabilia and keepsakes, but that's not what matters in this life. It's our relationships and those we love, and don't give up hope. If you haven't found someone, it is truly devastating. Fire is truly devastating. And to think that anyone sets it on purpose, like in cases of arson, like we've been talking about, it just,
Sure.
wow, because it's so uncontrollable.
It's scary.
Once again, and I don't know if you've actually run through them. What are the 6 kinds, and what's the motivation?
Yeah, the six kinds are revenge, vandalism, crime concealment, insurance claim, excitement, and pyromaniac. And it seems like revenge is the most common, but the most impulsive. So it's the most prevalent category. But oftentimes, knock on wood, except for the Julio Gonzalez case, a lot of the revenge cases are often not as destructive because they don't plan ahead, right?
Sure.
So sometimes people think that something will just go up, but
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's
Yeah.
lots of cases like that where they attempt to set a fire and it doesn't catch. Thank goodness. And vandalism, that's usually young kids, and typically that does not result in loss of life. Right, that's just kids that want to destroy something.
Garages are a lot of times
uninhabited places. Like they set a building on fire because they want to see it burn, and a lot of that is curiosity.
Or an outhouse.
Yes, or
Or a
blow
porta
up.
potty.
Yes.
A porta potty.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Porta potties are always fun.
Crime concealment and insurance claims. I mean, those are other types of criminals, right? That you're worried about the other stuff. Excitement is like, that is, to me, that's very much like the pyromaniac. I don't see there being a lot of difference other than that pyromaniac doesn't always have to have a reason.
Oh, it's always amazing to me. But Eric, go ahead, finish your thought. I was just going to say.
And I think there's more of an implication with the pyromaniac that it's a serial kind of activity.
Absolutely, where they almost like it's an irresistible impulse. You remember that, hearing that idea?
Yeah.
Like it's this irresistible impulse that they can't deny. And a pyromaniac almost feels that way. Like it's this release for them and they cannot stop. Whereas the excitement one, I don't think it matters either way. I think they can stop.
I was going to say serial killer and serial pyromaniac, they kind of have a lot in common. When
Oh,
you break it down.
they do. Yes, they do. And they both, the pyromaniac can result in death. It is this building up of tension and then sometimes a sexual release, same as serial killers, when they set a fire. It's very similar.
And scary. Very
scary. Very scary.
Because I suppose where it's also a very intimate act too for the pyromaniac, because they're usually targeting things that are homes, garages, cars, stuff like that.
And they have an MO like a serial killer. So a serial killer often has a preferred method of operation, how they like to do it. So do pyromaniacs. Like Thomas Sweat, he had his little milk jug thing that he perfected. He spent time on it. He perfected it to make it work exactly the way he wanted it to work. And, and he did it in Washington, D.C. area, an urban area with lots of cops. He was good at what he did.
Well,
and it resulted in billions and millions of dollars worth of destruction and I think 5 or 6 deaths.
I burned down a building one time.
Oh, no.
I did. I was probably about 12 years old. And I grew up in a rural area on a farm at that time. And inside this barn, and I don't know why I did this to this day. I just don't know. Or it was full of burlap sacks, this barn, right? I was grabbing, we used to use feed and stuff like that. So we keep all the burlap sacks. For some reason, my dad needed one. And I'm thinking, well, I got this cool Zippo lighter because I was a Boy Scout. I'm just going to light my way with this. And I tripped and it fell. And whoosh. And burlap sacks go up so fast, just incredibly fast. I couldn't believe how fast this fire was spreading. It was just so amazing. So I was the only one in the general vicinity. So I ran and I was close enough to a garden hose, right? And I'm feverishly trying to put this thing out, and it's not working all the greatest. I mean, grabbing a garden hose, put out a fire is really difficult. It doesn't quite have the flow you need like a fire hose, does. But it did get under control. I did get under control, and I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of walked away like, Wasn't me. And then my dad, he goes, huh, why'd the barn burn down? What happened? I said, I don't know. He said, I shouldn't have put all that burlap together. It's kind of like putting hay together. I should have known better. I got away with it for years up until now. I'm confessing a crime right here, right now, from when I was 12.
Good for the soul. It's good for your soul.
And it was accidental.
It was.
No one was hurt.
No one was hurt.
The only fire I was ever party to was, the same roommate that folded her laundry on the draining table. Same person, right?
Sure.
Different location. She put her French coffee maker, those chrome sort of French coffee press things, fancy coffee. She put it on our stove, right, to heat it up.
Yeah.
And then she went to take a shower for some reason while she left this French chrome coffee maker on the burner, open flame burner. Yeah. And you're supposed to, I don't think that's how they're supposed to work. I don't know. I was
sound right to me either.
Yeah, I was asleep. And she'd done it with an electric stove, many times. But this was an open flame.
Yeah,
this was a
natural
gas stove.
Yeah.
Never had that before. And so the handle on it, which was like Bakelite or plastic or something, began to melt.
Oh, God.
And and it melted into the fire, the open flame, and then just went boom. It just went up. And I was coming into the kitchen right as this happened. I see it dripping off the end of the coffee maker. And then this boom, it goes up. And I'm leaping 6-7 feet into the air. There's a painting behind the stove, which has also gone up at this point. And I grabbed the fire extinguisher. I put it out. And I'm not going to name her. She comes out from her shower, and she's just like, why is all this powder all over everything? I swear to God. And I'm like, don't talk to me. This was before.
Man, I did also start a microwave fire microwaving candy corn, but that's a whole nother show.
Why were you microwaving?
I was a stupid kid because I heard it becomes a really good syrup if you microwave it, and it doesn't.
It becomes a really good fire. Yes.
It becomes a better candy.
You know what the coolest thing you can microwave with a microwave
CDs.
is? A microwave.
Throw a CD in one of those ones.
Put a microwave in a microwave.
No, they're hard to fit.
How's that for meta?
That is.
What happens if you put a CD in there?
Oh, seriously? You get this. You get all sorts of fireworks in there, and then
don't do that, people.
It's the best way to destroy a CD is to put it in the microwave. That thing will never get read.
That's the way to destroy a microwave.
Is put a CD in it.
People do not set your house on fire.
Don't do that. Don't take my advice. Really quickly, Dr. Cole, can you run through those numbers again for people that are looking for loved ones that may not be accounted for?
Yes, if you have loved ones in the Camp Fire, the northern part of the state in California, you can go to the Butte County Sheriff's website, which is Butte is BUTTE county.net/sheriff coroner, and they have a easily accessible list of missing persons. If you need to add someone to the list or you need to take someone off the list, please call 530-538-6570. And, the other thing, if someone needs a place to stay out here, Airbnb in California has over 450 residences for people that are refugees of the fires listed for free. Go to Airbnb if someone needs a place to stay.
Thanks again for all the information. And everyone, pray for rain for California. They're super dry. Enough rain to get this under control. Not a deluge, but just enough to get this under control. We don't want to cause mudslides on top of having this horrible fire.
Thank you. Yes.
Until next time, guys, till tomorrow night when we talk with Eric.
Alan Roberts.
That's one of our favorite punk rockers, Alan Roberts, My Life a Misery guitarist, will be joining us tomorrow night. And until next time, take care of each other, love each other, and again, pray for rain. Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.